Round the fire, warm and bright, stocked up food for the night. Got our plans set in gold for the days when it's cold. Tools and gear stacked up high in the cabin we reside, listening to the winds howl, prepping for the morning's prowl. At the purpose fireside we stay, ready for that fateful day. Stories shared and hearts alight, round the fire every night.
Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Preppers Fireside. I mean, there's two of us again. It's going to be called Preppers Esbit Stove if it gets any smaller, Brian. We need volunteers. How you doing?
All good, mate. All good. Counting down the days to a disappear to America and play in the sun.
Interesting time to go to the States.
Yes. I'm
What's
going to try and get a...
What's your everyday plane?
Do you know, it does make you think though and wonder, because when you're going into the parks, you're watching for exits, and my wife says I'm paranoid. I'm not paranoid, I'm just careful.
I'm not paranoid. First stop after the plane is Walmart, and I can get myself a nice big combat knife just while we're here.
It's funny actually, when you get into Walmart, it's a surreal experience coming from the UK, and you go in for Cocoa Pops and a pallet of Pepsi Max, and oh, would you like a shotgun, sir? It's just bonkers, you know.
Yeah, first time I went to one, there was dune buggies outside. You could buy toilet roll all the way up to a full petrol dune buggy. It was just insane. Welcome to the people that are joining us in the chat. We've got 20 people with us at the moment. Elusive Dartmoor is here. He says, hi, Mike, out tomorrow camping with only my survival tin. So I have to use what I have in it in the tin. Like you said, video out Monday, no shelter or sleeping bag. I said this on one of his videos. I commented because he reviewed a survival tin. I said, why not do a night with just that? So I hope I get a shout out in the video, Elusive, for setting the challenge. If you don't die, that is. Otherwise, I'll deny everything.
You'll get a shout out. They'll find his recording, and it'll be Mike dared me to do this, and they find his frozen corpse next to the tin. Poor Phil.
He's just sprawled with his last breath, UK urban prayer.
What's this scene? He was trying to write out a word here, but I can't make it out in the dirt.
Ah, dear. Anyway, Philip Hull is there. He says, howdy, first time on the chat. Looking forward to getting paid so I can try and book for the June 2025 Scottish meet. Yes, it might seem like you've got loads of time, but it's booking up already.
Yep.
And we don't know how limited it's going to be. So get in there. I'm going to speak to the venue and hopefully kick everybody else off. So it's just us.
Hope to see you there, Phil.
Yeah, he's saying good luck for the tin. Blah blah blah. Sorry, was putting my chickens to bed. Never been a prepper meet before.
That sounds like a bad porno.
Wow, clucker, wow, wow.
Sorry, Phil, but you left us open there.
Kelly says, hi, peeps. Ready, Prepper One is in. How you doing, buddy? Hey, all new to the channel. Found it 2 weeks ago, but first time getting alive. Welcome, Paul.
Hi, Paul.
And Tuck is in from the United States of America. Watch out, there's a Scottish person on the way, Tuck. Just, lock up your daughters. Anyway, today's subject is because we ended up in a full-on debate on our WhatsApp group. And I hope we've not spoiled the best of it. This was going on for quite a while. And I thought this would have been a good podcast. We've just wasted all the good material talking to each other instead. But, it
was about around 6 messages, eh?
It was when I checked. I was like, oh. I had to reply as I scrolled down. Sorry, lads, still not got to the bottom. So I was always of the mindset that bugging out, not an option in the UK. Bug in. And I'm pretty sure you are of the same mindset. But after going to the prepper meet in August with Midlands Outdoor and Survival, speaking to quite a few people, and it's interesting, and I am more starting to sway towards bugging out over bugging in if there's a potential risk. I can see you smirking, so you feel free to interject.
No, it's fine. On you go. I don't disagree with the premise. Just
Well,
on you go.
It's circumstance, right? So it's all circumstance. At what point do you stop trying to defend a doorway with a load of people getting in and get the hell out of there?
The problem with that premise is, so if people are hard bent and desperate enough to try and breach the perimeter of your home in a restricted doorway that they've breached your security and any other defences you have put in place, do you really think that they're going to give you and your partner and your kids the luxury and the time to put a backpack on and leave with those supplies? Because if they're desperate enough to breach your home, anything in the home they're going to take. At best, you'll be left in one piece, but they're not going to let you leave with your kit.
But the point is having a good plan in place. Someone starts to try to break the door down. You look out, scope the situation. There's 30 of them. A warning shot with your slingshot didn't work, or whatever you happen to have, and they're still coming. That's your time to get out the back, right? While they're still trying to get through. There's no point having 3 layers of defense and waiting till at the last layer, then thinking maybe we should leave.
But let's follow that premise through, right? So, say you've got young kids, missus, yourself, right? Depending on the situation, and you go out the back door, assuming you've got a back door or a side door, and if they're really stupid and they haven't tried to get in the house from every possible avenue, right? Because we're assuming that they're all retarded, right? Excuse the use of the term, but they're all idiots. Nobody's went round to check that the back door's open first as they're distracting you at the front, right? So we're hoping that they're only coming from one side and nobody's bothered to check any other doors or windows, right? So while they're only coming at the front, hopefully we're going to put our backpacks on and sneak out the door with these on and hope that the kids and the small ones or anybody else in the family group can outrun the marauding hordes once they find out you're not there.
Yeah, but
that won't work.
No, but it's right. So what situation? What are they after at this point? It's going to be food, right?
Anything that you've got, because if they're desperate enough.
Majority is going to be food and water, right? If they're at the stage where they're looting residential, it's not going to be for your second-hand telly. It's going to be... So at that point, you have got preps there that are going to get left behind. They're going to get in and be grabbing and fighting each other for them cans of beans. That's your opportunity to go.
Possibly. Unless the ones that are marauding round the pile of your goodies, if they're content to fight it out there or chase you through the open door, unless you've bothered to shut the door behind you, lock it, and then run away, right? But I'm not trying to be obnoxious about it, but and it's not that I don't. It's not that I disagree with the concept of a bug-out bag, because I don't. I just think it's very, very niche and situational dependent, because it's the last-ditch item in a lifeboat.
Okay, so I mean, what's plan B in that situation? Obviously, we're talking the most extreme situation,
Sure.
So we'll step back after this and go to something milder. But in that situation, what's the plan B? If you're not going to bug out, if you're not going to make a run for it, are you cussed a last stand in it? Is that what you're doing?
It's the lesser of the evils, right? And this is the hard reality of that situation. You're never going to know that you're going to be overrun or the situation's untenable, right? Everybody will try and tread water when they're drowning in the ocean, right up until the point they go under and don't come back. And if your home was breached in that position, everybody's panicking. The rational thought and your plans and all the rest of it, unless it's practiced and everything else. And then also, bug out to where? Bug out to where? You need to have somewhere to go. If you're going to bug out in that situation, you'd want a distraction. You would want something to distract them, even if it's something simple as throwing one of your bug out bags, a spare one, a sacrificial one, out the window.
I've got a child. I just throw them one child, take the others.
I mean, it really is a difficult one because I think it's party dependent. Who's in your party? Their levels of fitness, the seasons, right? If it's the height of summer, the 2 days that we get in the UK, and it's 29 degrees outside, the risks in the kit are situational dependent on that, and entirely different from a winter escape and evasion, because that's essentially what we're talking about.
But what's plan B, Brian?
In that situation, marauding hordes are trying to breach your perimeter of your home, and any defences you have had or strategies in place, they've failed, right? Well, you're fucked. That's basically it, mate.
That's not the prepper attitude we want to hear.
But it's the thing is, what's the most defensible or realistic option? Is it to hope that in an open area you can flee for safety through the dark, through daytime, with a couple of small kids and the missus and whatever you've thrown together to hopefully a place of perceived safety that you've previously planned? If there's that many people that they could breach your perimeter with whatever you've got in place to stop that, in the cold light of day, you're not running out the back door, because anybody with any common sense, even the slavering hordes, are going to have made sure your avenues of escape are blocked. And if your defences are really that good that you can't get in, they'll probably burn you out.
I think you're giving them too much credit to be that organised. I think it'd be smashing windows and trying to get in wherever they can. But there's a chance that your own defences might just put them off and they move on to the next house anyway.
You would hope so. I think the prepper attitude that we're talking about is that you try and avoid that last-ditch effort anyway, that your community spirit is organised. It doesn't boil down to Custer's last stand in one house. But your Bugout bag has got a place. I just don't think in that scenario it's got a place other than to, drag the bodies out. I just don't think you're going anywhere. If it's yourself...
I thought you were an optimist, Brian.
I deal with risk on a day-to-day basis and how likely things are to happen. And
well, personally, I think I'm in a row terrace, right? So I don't think they'd be smart enough to go around the back. They'd probably, if they can't get in the front, they'd eventually go around the back, but then the front would be open. I don't think it'll be an organized attack. I'm not talking about a strategic attack on a castle. I'm talking about they start hammering at that front door. Am I going to sit there and be Rambo and try and protect my family, reloading a crossbow like this? Not as quick as Daryl off Walking Dead. Or as soon as that starts to happen, the risk assessment has me getting out the back. Now, doesn't have to be fully kitted up with bags and like that, because you take advantage of stashes and things like that. So it could be literally just get the hell out of there. Get to your nearest stash. Your nearest stash could be a locker that's 5 minutes away walking. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to be 200 miles into the wilderness.
Well, I'll suggest what I've told my son when he was a bit younger and he started going out for the first time. If anybody wants anything off him on a night out and he's getting held up or mugged, throw it on the ground. Leg it. That applies to your backpack for bugging out as well. If they're that desperate, that's all they want.
Drop kick and go. Yeah, definitely.
There's nothing in that you couldn't have pre-positioned and replaced anyway. The same as for your personal safety in an evening out. So, and again, that's one of your last-ditch preps. Part of your prep would be disposing of that in the hope that it buys you time. If that's all they truly want is that, then it might buy you time enough to get to your pre-positioned supplies. But in that extreme situation that all your defences have failed, your perimeter's breached, you've had to evac, then my last throw of the dice would be drop the packs and hope they spend time rummaging through it as you try and sneak away to our cash.
Yeah. Let's go to the comments quickly before my rebuttal. Elusive Dartmoor says, Mike, bugging out is good if needed, but only for people who go out now and practice skills, etc. Those people just have a dream in the head, but will never try, will probably fail bugging out. Yeah, I know. And this is part of the natural selection we'll see. Lee is in from the Bugout shop. Anybody who doesn't know Lee, make sure you go and check out his channel. Very funny guy. Awesome shop. Great setup in South Wales if you get a chance to go down there. It probably is the best prepper store in the UK.
His last video was brilliant. I was really jealous of his setup in the rooms and everything.
Yeah, he's awesome, and he did not pay me to say this. Don't forget to check out the Bugout. No, I'm joking. He didn't. Anything will have a value on a barter situation. It's just true, I
Agreed.
suppose. But I don't think, again, I think people look at a lot of stuff into bartering, and that is, you're talking shit at the fan, natural popularization of the world as they all die off, as the weak and the meek all die. Then you slowly started to build some sort of civilization. Only then will barter come into it. Barter's not going to be day one. Here's a bag of sugar. Don't take my stuff. They'll be like, I'm going to smash you over the head with this telly I just stole from. I nearly said Dixon's, but that would have showed me age, wouldn't it?
That's a while ago. Can I propose a more arguable scenario for bugging out that actually gives it merit? Bug out to Premier, and there we go. I know the scenario he's talking about there. You're bugging out to a Premier and after you've had an argument with the missus and you're doing escape and evasion to a place of safety. I like your thinking, Lee. But I think, see the bug out bag or get home bag or whatever, it has got a place. I do agree it's got a place. I just think in that scenario that it's overly optimistic. But if you're miles from home, even in a breakdown, having some food, some water, you're stuck in a car, you've got a sleeping bag, there's snow, there's a traffic jam, that's all got merit. You've looked ahead, you've had foresight, you've made your life a bit easier. I just don't think people realise carrying a pack that they've never adjusted, they've never packed it properly, or they might have built it fucking months ago, right?
Mm-hmm.
And never used it, never opened it again, don't even check the contents, no basic maintenance, it's no seasonally assessed. And then something goes wrong and they think that, that's their prepping done. They've bought a bag, they've filled it with crap, and you can forget about it. It doesn't work like that, and it's never going to be like that.
No.
Personal opinion.
No, you're right. And what Dartmoor said was exactly right. That if you don't get out and you don't try these things, this is the whole point of these prepper meets, right? Sure. I went to this prepper meet. It wasn't like, I didn't do it with the bug out bag kind of stuff, but I did do it with the box that I'd have if I was bugging out in the vehicle and a few other things. And literally just 2-3 days doing that. And it's not a hostile environment. It was an actual campsite. Just doing that, you find the holes in your own preps. When my stove blew up at 5 a.m. and a fireball consumed half of my head and half of the tent as it went round, and then I had was rummaging around to find a way to start a fire and get some hot water, I would realized I need to prepare where things are better. I knew I had the stuff, but it was like digging out all this crap to find it. So you learn things from your own mistakes, as it were, or just trying them. But Lee is right. If you're waiting to bug out when the crowds are at your door, you've left it way too late. Luckily, a very
100%.
unlikely event to happen anyway. Everything's unlikely. This is a theoretical talk show. Please don't. Please don't treat your wounds like we taught you last week.
I just think it's. Sorry, on you go, mate.
Well, this is the he's making my point of when to make that call. Right.
So when did you bug out? When?
We had riots in the town, right?
Sure.
Civil unrest, as it were. We've still got the rule of law, as long as the BBC are half trying to report some lies, we know that the world still exists, right? When that goes off and it says emergency broadcast system, wait, that's when we'll worry. But it would take a long time, I think, for that to reach suburban areas. And by
Agreed.
that time, I don't think you're dealing with crazy looting hordes. By that time, you are dealing with groups of people, mags, essentially. Whether they're proper prepper mags or whether they are just formed off the back of a gang after SHTF, it's an organized, let's sweep this area, right? I think, personally, for me, this is not my castle right now. Yeah, this is not my end goal location. I will bug in here till I can bug in no longer, and I will be bugging out. Yeah, but to fixed locations with stash points en route. Yeah, so
Yes.
that's the idea.
That's sensible.
And so it's assessing that situation. But a freak occurrence of people trying to get in your house could happen. I suppose it's the other thing of hiding what you do, right? This is all OPSEC. But, you know, if 300 people in Burnley saying, I know that guy, I've seen him on YouTube and I know where he lives, I'm going to his house. This is why I'll probably bug out.
There's so much I can't add to that premise of them trying to come through the door for obvious reasons that you're well aware of.
Yeah.
Unless they burned me out, they would never get through the door. But that's an extreme scenario. I think a bug out bag is part of your prepper toolbox. I think your bug out bag is something that gives you a feel good factor that you've done it, which is great. It gives you something that you can use even if it's you're taking it out the bag and we have you replenishing it. It can help you with first aid at an accident aside the road. Christ, you can even take some for camping with you. It's a toolbox for many things.
Yeah, but there's still a situation there that's like, I mean, because so everyone a lot of preppers, obviously you can have firearms in this country. Some people do. A lot of preppers don't. A lot of preppers have crossbows, balls, knives, swords, spears, frigging
until they ban them.
You know, sharpened dildos, whatever they're working with, they've got a collection of weapons. However, you are still one man wielding anything. And despite popular belief, guns are not a sparse commodity in this country. There's quite a lot of them. And if you live in an urban area like me, the people that have them are not the friendlies. All right. So no matter how well equipped you are, it's still not worth risking your life.
Somebody's always going to have more, whether it's more knowledge, more kit, better ideas. Somebody's always going to have more. And this is where your mutual assistance groups is going to come in. If it's that bad, you've formed your community and all the rest of it. For me, a bug out bag is your last. I like that. Tin of beans. I think a bug out bag for me has got its place, but I think staying at home and bugging in, or part of your community and bugging in, would always be, for most people, I think the most realistic option. And if things are that catastrophic that you've got to bug out, it's a lifeboat. And it's a last-ditch chance to give you 72 hours, or however you deem much you can carry and rock, to get to the next place that you've prepped or cached kit. Because it's only a lifeboat, the same as your bug-out vehicle. It's just a lifeboat. It's a tool in the toolkit. But my worry is that people build a bug-out bag with the view that the first time something goes wrong, they're going to turn into a squirrel hunter, and they'll be like Davy Crockett with a slingshot that they've never used. And that's my kind of, it's bollocks.
Right.
Go for it. Hit me with it.
So,
right,
you can bug out to the British wilderness. You could bug out to the Pennines, to the Scottish Highlands, to wherever you think, right?
Okay.
Now, what's the biggest argument we've always had against that?
Weather, sanitation, your ability to walk through inclement weather.
But what's the main thing? What are you going to bump into? What
other people?
Population, right? At the stage you're doing that, how many people do you actually think will go out into the fucking wilderness, right? I'm not talking about this is the A7 and we're just going to stay roughly around the A7, but going off into the middle of frigging nowhere.
The few that have tried it already by that point are already dead.
Yeah. But if you've trained to do that, if you've practiced with this gear, by the stage you're bugging out, we're not talking about day 2, day 7, day 30. We're talking upwards of that. Ideally, when your preps have run out at home, right? Yes. Ideally. If you're at the point you're going to bug out, the population is not going to be the number it is now. And there's not going to be hordes of marauding people walking through the countryside willy-nilly, especially if it's a hard-to-reach place, if you've picked a tactical position. They're going to stick to the roads. They're going to stick to the highways. Yes, they're going to migrate. They're going to flock around, and they're going to swarm through places like where I live, like locusts at that point. So I'm not safe here at that stage. I'm safer out in the middle of nowhere where they can't survive, where I have the advantage.
I don't disagree with that, but here's the big flaw of the basic premise. You could survive. You could thrive, right? But we're not just talking about you, and we're not just talking about me, because your family group might encompass people that have got less physical ability than you. They might be
All
younger
accounted for.
and might be, yeah, but and it's not just you or me. That's the problem, though. It's like you might have a family group that they've got tough choices may have to be made. You might have in-laws, grandparents, or mother, father, really young children. It's only going to be as quick as the slowest person. And that's assuming you don't pick up any injuries on the way, they can't walk. Do you leave them? Have you to walk on and leave your siblings, your loved ones by the side of the road, give them a couple extra tins and a bowie knife and hope that they'll be all right? That for me is the big problem, that it's
It looks like Granny's gone the way of old Yeller.
I think you've got to be realistic, and I'm not dissing Bugout bags at all, and it comes across I'm being really negative. I think they've got their place. I just think that there's an unrealistic expectation of people's skills to rise to the occasion, and all of a sudden there'll be Bear Grylls and their 90-year-old granny or their 5-year-old child are all going to walk along.
What I'll agree with is, for a lot of people, a Bugout bag that's what it is, and that's their preps. I think it should be the last prep you're doing. Once your 100%. Home's prepped, once you've got your food supply that you're comfortable with, or you're at the limit you can store, that's when you're looking at Bugout bags, get out plans, stuff like that. Now, stashes, I was always nervous about stashes because you just think, and it has happened, people have buried something too shallow, water's got under this blue barrel, it's gone whoop, and somebody's gone, oh, what's that? But stashes doesn't necessarily have to be dug into a hole. It could be a storage locker. It could be an abandoned building somewhere remote. There's all sorts of different things you can do. And I would, if you can afford to, put the basics of what you'd put in a Bugout bag in a stash, in a barrel, something like that, something sealed, and put them in different locations. You've got to be able to afford to do that as expendable income, like that is gone. But if you're genuinely serious about a Bugout plan, you need caches, not just because you don't want to carry, the bullshit version of an inch bag where you've got your entire house, the sink, and granny on a rocking chair on top, looking like the Beverly Hillbillies version of a prepper. You just can't do it. It's just not realistic, especially if you want to hike more than past the corner shop. You need to travel light, so you need to tactically place these along the route. There's a reason that my visits to different areas recently have took a lot longer, and the missus is rolling their eyes when I'm stopping to go and look in a bush off the side of a road that she's thinking, what the fuck are you doing? It's scouting locations,
From experience, from mines, you're looking about 80 quid a barrel to put kit in it and buying the barrel. It's about 30 quid for a 30-litre blue barrel. They're food safe, they're perfect. They come with a metal snap ring.
Yeah. If I remember rightly, sorry, you carry on in a sec, but if I remember rightly, Lee sells one that's pre-kitted out, like a stash barrel. I'm sure he does. Correct me if I'm wrong. If you're still in here, Lee, just let me know if you do that and what's in it. Carry on.
Have you got a Bugout shop t-shirt on tonight or something?
I've not. No, I just remember when you said about the blue barrels, I'm sure he did a giveaway like quite a while ago, something like that, and you could buy one and it had all the kit in. Now, I don't know if he'd just done that for a giveaway or if he sells them. So I was just curious. Carry on.
It's worth checking out. out. I think they're brilliant. I used to use them for kayaking originally, and I've bought them for this. And you're paying between 21 and 30 quid for a new one. And inside it, I tend to stick in rat packs, some other stuff that I'll mention, and matches, lighters. I think some of them have got a couple of t-shirts in them and a few ponchos. But just basically enough stuff, and there's bottles of water in it as well. It's about 80 quid per barrel it cost, and I've stuck a few just in a few different places.
Yeah. So, I mean, people are fearful to do that, right? Because it's I mean, people like to have the preps here to go, look at all this stuff I have, look at my torch, and look at my wonderful things. If it's in a barrel buried somewhere, and
There's
how
two
often do you
reasons.
go and check them? That's
I've
the
never been
question.
back.
You've never been back.
Never been back.
Do you think you should?
Probably. Undoubtedly, I should. I just don't have time now. But
Yeah.
I should. I haven't, and that's a feeling. That's a field prep in itself.
Mm.
Where they are, it's got to be close enough to an arterial road that you can humph this shit, and also you've got enough landmarks that you could find it again. Bear in mind that the landmarks where you used as reference points when you buried it, they might not be there anymore for a whole host of reasons.
Mm-hmm.
It could be a big tree and somebody's cut the fucking thing down and burnt it for firewood. So you need a reasonable landmark on or near it, and other people in your party or group need to know about it as well. It could be a rally point as well. But
Yeah.
80 quid, 80 quid's 80 quid, but the peace of mind it gives me to make one up. In fact, you know what? I'll make one for a video and just show you what's in them. But that's
Most of what's in them.
aye. You know what I mean.
For anyone not getting the reference, it's his inflatable girlfriend's Sheila. He doesn't like to. In any Bugout situation, you definitely.
You mean the Fraudmaster 4000 inflatable one with catcher? You told me you'd never tell anyone.
I also told you I'd wash it out when I was finished. Sorry.
You caught that itch from somewhere. You're a terrible person.
Anyway, right. So, I mean, I'm going pro Bugout. This is where I'm heading, right? And it's kind of now I've got to look at the practicalities and the realities of that situation, right? So we've established in the first 30 days I ain't going anywhere unless there's hordes of raving lunatics at my door, as opposed to the normal raving lunatics that come to my door. So 30 days, we're all good. But after that, if it's deteriorating, I mean, well, okay, so let's throw another scenario in there. Ignore hordes of maniacs, ignore stuff like that. Potential strike near you, fallout is drifting your direction. All right. If your house is not got a fallout shelter, or you don't decide to trust the duck and cover manuals from the 50s that say hide under a door in the center of a room, you've got to get out, right?
Not straight away, no. Need to let the fallout land first.
Well,
that's
you can
assuming the blast.
Well, okay, so what if that blast is then it's you're potentially in the target zone. You've got to get out.
For the scenario, and I'm not nitpicking, where I live, in any scenario that's a possibility, I'm dead. There's no ifs or buts. In the central belt of Scotland, with all the infrastructure that's round about, including the national deterrent, there's not going to be fallout. It'll be dustpan and brush. I'm a goner. I'll never prep for that because there's no point. I'm a goner. Even if they told me at 30 minutes, I'm dead. Because the roads will be blocked. Even if I jumped in the camper van, it was good to go. I'm a goner.
Good test to see how deep you could dig in the garden in 30 minutes.
I'd have a good go, but I don't think it would matter.
Spider hole.
Go with your premise then that there's been an event. Let's say it's rather than something extreme like that. Let's say Hunterston Power Station had developed a leak and they were doing a national evacuation from Scotland in its entirety, right? That's when your bug out bag will come into its own, right? You're bugging out in a controlled manner, but you need shit, you need stuff because you don't know what's going to be at the other end there. So you're going to need things. You're also going to have things that might be a situation that batters a thing. That in that scenario, I think your bug out bag would be invaluable.
Yeah, that's kind of just like your emergency grab bag, right? That's not really the bug out bag in the sense of water, shelter, wilderness.
But you don't know what shelter they're going to have to offer
Squirrel
you. Or you
skinny
might aye, but you're still bugging out. You're bugging out to a place of unknown supplies, logistics, security. Your bug out bag has still got value. I think that's the best scenario.
I suppose, yes. Yeah, okay. So that's probably your justification of, yeah, I'm not going to go and live in the woods, but I've got this for this very reason.
Sanitation, weather, and human predation will kill 99% of people who do it.
Yeah.
Hands down, every time.
Let's take a few comments before I lose track of them. Tuck says, the slingshot seems to be a crutch for too many people. The bands are rather delicate. You must stockpile them. Ammo must be gathered before a crisis. Rocks, I've seen rocks do spirals and right turns, so you can't just pick up anything and shoot it. I think that goes to say with anything like that, because some people have a crossbow, like it's hidden from sight now. I've not got one. The crossbow at the back there, but you don't have spare strings. Once that goes, it's done. You need to stockpile everything when it comes to any sort of something that could easily deteriorate and stuff like that.
Slings, limbs, waxes, everything for your crossbow. But nobody would really use it's a good question, but nobody with a slingshot uses rocks anymore. They generally just buy bags of ball bearings for a couple of quid. You've got thousands of them. So
yeah. I think he's saying stockpile them, though. He's telling people that you should. Yeah. No license in the UK, but you do in Scotland. Cornish Bob, not sure what you're on there. Maybe that's the crossbow, maybe.
Not yet. Air rifles, yes.
Air rifles, yeah. They're talking about air guns. This is what I mean when I try and look through the comments for questions. People are just talking amongst themselves. Just chat amongst yourselves. We just facilitate a chat room. That's all we do here.
Which is a good thing in its way, if it gets people talking.
I can't envisage a scenario where you won't get at least some advance warning of the need to bug out.
I'm on
You've
the
never
fence.
seen Red Dawn? Jesus Christ.
Wolverines. I was actually watching that today, the old one, the 1984 one.
The better one.
It's a good film.
The irony is they made a new version and they made it with North Korea to make it seem more relevant, and now Russians more relevant.
It was not a good remake.
No, it definitely wasn't. No. Just they improved the special effects, but that's about it. Better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it. That's a good motto for anything.
It's valid for any 18-year-old.
Yeah.
On a night out, yes, I totally agree.
Oh dear. Right. So you got the line's got to be drawn somewhere, though, and I think the line is drawn at me pressing the space bar and highlighting a random comment. There we go. I didn't know I could do that. Ooh, shortcuts. Hey. Every day is a learning day. Is inch bags, right? Which is inch, for anybody that doesn't know, is INCH. I'm never coming home, right? Which is basically you pack in a bag with everything, including documents, anything you possibly might need, to never return to your premises. Now, it's a lot of crap, right?
Yeah, it's going to be loaded to the tits by crap. It's going to be bulky. It's going to be heavy. I don't think it's any different from a Bugout bag, only it's got more shit in it.
Yeah.
I just don't think it's... Well, an inch bag in the scenario of the power station having a meltdown and evacuating the populace, then in that scenario, I'll give them their due. It's probably got a place. You've got your documents, you've got your mortgage statements, you've got your bank accounts, you've got paperwork you might need to start a life over, assuming it's an option.
In this day and age, do you need that? There's a digital. We all have a digital thumbprint, right? Unless you're completely off grid, we all have a digital thumbprint. We all have a way to re-get a passport, re-get a driving license. If your house burnt down tomorrow and you happen to be sunning it on the beach, you haven't got your inch bag with you. That shit happens, all right? You don't suddenly disappear from the populace. You can get back on. And if the rule of law's flip and the power's out, who gives a flying fudge if you've got your passport or your mortgage statement when there's no rule of law?
Different scenario though for the first one. If there's no rule of law, it's got no value, none whatsoever.
No,
other than toilet paper or a fire starter.
But so why do you need to pack a bag? Why do you need all them documents? Even in the rule of law.
Well,
Everything's recoverable.
It is, depending on tech savvy the person is as well, and it might be recoverable in a certain time frame. But if you've got all your information to hand,
Yeah.
right, you can prove certain things without going through weeks, often at months, of document checks, GDPR, all that other good stuff, getting new documents sent out so you can get other new documents. I think it's got its place in that scenario.
But you
Purely
load
for time saving.
so if you load a Bugout bag with everything you could possibly need, right? You can't come on, load a Bugout bag, and then it doesn't have to be like loads of clothes. You could literally have the clothes you're wearing and a spare set of dry clothes, spare set of socks, shelter, water, the usual stuff. There's loads of videos. There's like 1.3 million videos on Bugout bags on YouTube.
Yeah.
A lot of them will be shite. Some of them will be good. But you do all that and then stick a ream of paper on top and see how far you can walk. Because if you're talking about all these documents, right? So I can make anyone's bag, anyone's EDC, an inch bag or an inch EDC right now.
Use your phone and take pictures. Yeah.
See that? Every possible paper document you have, scan, put into a file, put security on the file, put a password on, put passwords on the actual thing. There's loads of ways you can secure it, but everything
Don't disagree with that.
Is your life. Do not put a ream of paper, passports, baby pictures. You're not going to be looking at baby pictures when you're freezing to death. You're going to be burning the frigging things, all right? I'm sorry.
I agree. I just don't think, if it's someplace you're never coming home to, there's a life or death reason for it. It's not going to be a run-of-the-mill situation, and it's all scenario dependent. And again, it boils down to weight, fitness, party complement, all the rest of it. And it's a last-ditch effort. Whether we're calling it a bug-out bag or an inch bag or a fucking handbag, it doesn't matter. It's a last-ditch effort for me.
Yeah.
Because I'm lazy. I'm an engineer by profession. I'm lazy. I build things so that my life is easier, and I prep so my life is easier. If I have to bug out, right, I'm a fat lazy bleep. I'm going to get about 2 miles and I'll be burst, or half the preps will go on the floor. And I'm not greatly dissimilar from most people in the UK. We've got a largely sedentary life. We don't prep for running marathons. Even if your partner's on board, your kids might not be, or the elderly parents might not be. It's just such a...
You've just validated my previous point.
Which one?
That you're not going to come across hordes of roaming people in the wilderness because they won't get 2 miles down the frigging road to get there.
Yeah, they're dead. Most of that, Bill. Again, they tried it and it didn't work out too well. Unless you're used to tabbing and rucking, that's great. But the rest of the party might not be able to or experienced in it. And that's why I think fundamentally it's a last ditch, probably a losing proposition. But if you're swimming in the ocean, it doesn't mean to say you're going to stop trying to stay alive. You should always keep fighting to stay alive. This is just another 3 days to do it. I don't disagree with a bug-out bag in principle. I just don't think people are very realistic about their own abilities and where they're going to go. Yeah. I don't think it's a bad idea. Just for the record, in case anybody thinks I'm anti-bug-out bag, I'm not. I just think you should be realistic about you, your ability, and your party.
Yeah.
That's all.
And on that, 3 days worth of food, 5 days worth of food, whatever you manage to get in there. Always, I'd recommend anyone bugging out, even if you're forced to, or whether you've decided that's your plan, everything in there should be treated like a finite resource, right? If you can eat, get the little Collins book that says eat for free. Yeah, and it's all the stuff that grows wild around the UK. If you can sustain yourself on berries most of the day and then have maybe an MRE if you have to, everything in there is a finite resource. If you're starting a fire and you've got the luxury of time, use your ferrous rod, use natural materials. Yeah, don't use your Bic lighter because when it's gone, it's gone. Yeah,
Don't agree.
Yeah, so treat it like finite materials. But if you plan to bug out, I suppose the lesson is practice. 100% practice. I'm doing this hike and I am probably, I'm a bit like her because it's 100 miles in 4 days.
You'll be fine.
I could have done that 20 years ago without batting an eyelid, haha. But now it is. But I think I need to do it for me. And this is going to be a complete test of a bug out bag as well. The whole thing is going to be a test of a bug out bag. It's not a case of take 20 quid and stop at Tesco on the way. I'm going to be taking the path less trodden. Yeah.
What I would say, that's great. And that'll prove that at this moment in time, at this snapshot of your life, and in that weather window, you can achieve that. But what it doesn't prove, you know what I mean? That's it. We don't know. You might have a couple of days of good weather. It might be pissing for the heavens. But all that proves is at this moment in your life, you're physically capable to do that. In 5 years, 10 years' time, you might not be able to. And also, to do that, just your missus and the kids aren't there.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
And that's not a diggery. I'm just saying that the whole premise of bugging out relies on keeping the family unit safe and together. So all that proves is that you could do it, and how hard it will be, and it's good feedback to give to the group.
Yeah.
But I just think most people are unrealistic. But I don't disagree with a bug out bag.
No. And for the record, I thought about this in depth as well. Obviously, the vehicle is number one. Get as far as I can, do as much as I can with a vehicle if they're not, if it's not an EMP or something like that, obviously. But I've got a foldable, I've ordered a foldable metal. It doesn't fold right down compact thing, but the sides come in and it closes, and it's big rubber wheels, and it's just basically a pull along truck. Big square metal cage thing, right? You could probably fit 6 or 7 rucksacks in there and some other stuff. But what I'm doing now, which will only be relevant for the next year, maybe less, is I am going to weld 2 ISO fixed points in from an old car, and a baby car seat will click into that, so the child can be strapped into this wagon and pulled along.
Good idea.
That's my kind of plan in the short term. Obviously, by the time they can walk, it'll be like, carry your own goddamn stuff. If you don't survive this hill, I'm going alone.
And in that situation, a thought that springs to mind, if it was somebody with the same type of kids, age groups and different things, and didn't have the trolley, they could go to their local supermarket, grab a shopping trolley. It's got the bit for the kid to sit in anyway.
Oh,
and you
that's
could
the
put a
most
couple of
uncomfortable ride ever. You pushed one of those on rough concrete.
Yeah, but you're not supposed to be in the basket, mate. You're supposed to shove them. That's probably why it's not very comfortable. You're too big for it.
Shaking baby syndrome purely after
you're
the
doing
first
it all wrong.
No, but it is all about prepping for your situation, right? So if you're 60, don't think you're gonna do what you were doing when you were 20. Try these things, constantly practice. Cheap plug, take advantage of prepper meets, all right? Because you can try your gear, all right? We've got one coming up. You must have seen the details. Quickly in the comments, Kelly I says, come on, lads. Part of prepping must be keeping an eye and ear out for the possibility of a need to bug out. I'm a news fanatic and try to keep up. We all should. Totally agree. Yeah, it's...
Don't disagree with that.
Yeah. Knowledge,
I just think it's a last ditch.
Yeah.
Look, Canvas and lots of news sources agree.
Heads up, from the 24th of September, it'll be illegal to own a knife with more than 1 point, more than 1 hole in the blade, and serrations to no more than 50 millimeters. If you have a Rambo knife, it will be illegal to own. Yep. So that means don't show it anyone.
Nanny state strikes again.
There we go. That's from the 24th of September. And from the 1st of January 2026, you will not be able to buy a pair of scissors longer than 1 inch. Knitting needles are on an all-route ban. Elusive Dartmoor. Mike, my survival tin is on me 24/7. Some people may have one, but haven't used one in a bug out bag. Definitely a personal thing, so planning is key. Yes, and I'm looking forward to seeing your video on that, because a lot of people put stock in these survival tins, but when it comes to it, I'd love to see a lot of these people pull out that little... Hang on, I'm not even going to demonstrate. Look at this. This is Dad's special. I want to see everyone who owns one of these tins pull out this little fishing kit, fashion themselves a pole, fashion themselves a pole and catch something, all right? Because most people have it in the tin and they couldn't catch a fish with a stick of dynamite.
Let's be honest though, half the people that buy these, including myself, get a certain amount of pleasure, security that you've got stuff that you hope you'll never need. But the simple fact that you've got it, you've accumulated stuff, makes you feel like you've done something and you're better prepared. You'll probably never use it. You probably don't have a clue how to use it, but you feel better for it. I don't have a great issue with that. I think you should probably know how to use it. But if you feel better for having it, Christ, it's like religion, the prepper religion. If you feel better for stocking some tins of beans and things, then you're no harming anybody. We should do this.
Yeah. The last sentence of this depicts our competent government. Multi-tools are okay as far as I know. It's more zombie knives and Rambo-style knives will be illegal. Yeah, I mean, that's been kind of the case for a while with the zombie ones, but the Rambo ones is a new thing. But not illegal to buy, but illegal to own.
That's brilliant. That makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
We'll sell you it, but we'll arrest you in the street with it.
Okay. So can I buy one and then immediately lease it to you? I may own it, but they can't seize it because I don't have it. You have it, but you don't own it. You lease it, right? Maybe, I don't know. Welcome to Mike's Zombie Knife Leasing Company.
I mean, to be fair, she's a prepper knife. Half of these things that we're talking about in Lee's post, which is an excellent post, it's a practical prepping knife. They're shit anyway.
Yeah. If you're buying the Rambo knife as your only means of defense, then you are one of the first ones to go. And it won't be hordes of people and it won't be other preppers that kill you. It will be you attempting to do some fiddly job with your giant Rambo knife, slip and go through a femoral artery. That's what's going to kill you. Cheers, Elusive. Doing the walk. The walk is for charity, by the way. If people haven't seen it, there is a video on it not so long ago. I'm doing it in aid of charity, so you can support that if you can.
There's a GoFundMe link for it as well. If you want to chuck in a few quid to Mike for the charity, that would be, I'm sure, gratefully appreciated.
Yeah, definitely. Turns out, so Sutherland's on board with the charity walk now. They're letting me finish at pitch side.
Oh, nice one.
Going to the stadium, finish pitch side, and have a pitch side interview. And then they're giving us the use of one of the main bars in the Sunderland Stadium because there's no home match that weekend. Main bars to record our usual podcast at the end of the walk. And Jack, who died, I'm doing it in aid of the charity. His mum is meeting me for the last leg of the walk and doing the last bit into the stadium.
Nice one.
So it's really cool. It's actually coming off quite nicely. So anyway,
you know how the interview will go, don't you? It turns you into a pervert overnight. My goodness, I didn't realise it was going to be like that. Hopefully not. So, Mike, are you the sex pest that we've been hearing about and then you're doing your heavy breathing? That's it, deplatformed. No, they'll be saying, are you the guy that killed Phil, Elusive Dartmoor? He sent him out in the wilderness with the contents of a tobacco tin. Have you anything to say to his loved ones? Can we talk about this? Poor Phil.
Poor Phil. Hashtag poor Phil. We'll raise money for him the next time. Right. I think I've got a telescopic fishing rod. Wouldn't trust it to be able to take the pressure of fish trying to get away. This is the thing. If you own it, test it.
Yeah.
Test it if you own it. You don't want to be, none of these preps you get now, no matter what it is. I don't care if it's a fucking torch or if it's a ridiculous sized fishing kit in a tin. I don't care what it is. If you buy it, do not put it in a cupboard and think, I'll have that the day I need it. Test it. And even if it's a thing that's, we did a medical one the other week and Brian unwrapped one of the trauma bandages. But you did that anyway, right? When you first bought them?
Yes, no problem. No problem.
Yeah, but you did that the first time you bought them anyway, right? To test
it.
Make
sure.
You
want to check it.
Yeah, you don't want to open it up and confetti jumps out and a little note saying, haha, got you.
Plus, I want everybody else at home to know how to put the thing on because it could be mean it's bleeding. So here you go. This is it. This is how you put it on. Now do it to me.
Yeah. Have we got a summary to this bugging out in the UK? we got distinctly do with caution and distinctly don't. I'd rather just die.
My final thoughts, right? I am not anti-bug-out bag, get-home bag, inch bag, whatever you want to call it, for a number of reasons. You feel better for having it. You feel happier for having made one and it's at home. And it has got value in certain situations, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not anti-bug-out bag at all. But all I would say is be realistic about when you're ever going to actually use it. Because you might be okay, I might be okay, but a loved one might not be able to do it. And they might not even be on board with it, but you've bought them anyway, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they're never going to walk with you because they don't see any value. Because let's be honest, in the average household, I'm the nutter. Thankfully, my wife's on board to an extent. You're in the same boat. But for most people, you're the solo prepper in the household that you're tolerated. Nobody's realistically ever going to go walking with you for miles with a fucking rucksack on. So it's not going to happen. So be realistic. That's all I've got on it.
Yeah. And if it means taking up a hobby alongside that makes it more relevant, like just hiking with normal sized backpacks on, cycling, if you're thinking of bugging out on a bike or an e-bike, you can get trailers for bikes, anything like that, and camping, do these activities now as a fun thing. And let's be honest, if it came to it, it's all right saying the missus won't do it and the kids won't do it, but if it's a fan, they've no choice, right? They're going to be dragged along and they're going to have to do it. At least it'll be less of a shock to the system. Philip Hull says, not sure I want to test my dental equipment if no dentist, followed by any volunteers. We do not condone you letting Phil pull any of your teeth out. As we've said before, take advice with a sensible level head, please.
I had a joke off the back of that, but I don't want to use it because it's probably not appropriate, but it was really funny in my head. It's fine.
You've built it up now, so if you don't say it,
well,
it's
I'm not a dentist, but I'm also not a gynecologist, but I'll have a good look.
Yeah, that's the old ones are the best ones. Bug out last resort only, but have the bug out bag just in case. If I have to bug out, I'll be fishing ASAP. It'll keep busy, stretch food supply, and fish are plentiful. There you go. We're an island nation. If you can't fish, learn. I don't like fishing. Fly fishing, no thanks. I'll end up with a hook in the side of my ear. But I've done sea fishing. I've done fishing off the edge of a pier. So, it needs must. So I could do it in a lake, but I'm not going to sit there going like this because literally I'd be whipping a 12-year-old that way and a 6-year-old that way as the kids were trying to watch me. It's just going to end up as a bloodbath.
As prepping goes, it's a passive food prep because you can leave lures in the water, tethered, fixed points, and go and do something else and come back to your lines. You don't have to be there. If they're going to prep properly with fishing, you can go back and check on your lures later. You don't have to be there. But it might gather you food passively while you're doing other shit like chopping wood or building your camp.
Yeah. Roosters said it good here. As I said, use the hard methods first before the Hollywood method. Practice the hard stuff and appreciate that the Tiffany issued kit when it's better applied. Yeah, there you go. And it's right. It's right. There'll be millionaires that die before we do in SHTF because all the money in the world and all the kit in the world won't help you if you've no practice and you've no clue what you're doing. The first thing they're going to do is, don't worry, I've prepared. I've got what was it I watched the other day? What's the zombie one with Brad Pitt?
Oh, is it World War Z?
Yeah.
That's a good film.
And they're trying to protect this scientist, and they're like, and then he runs and slips on the ramp of the plane and shoots himself in the head. And I'm just like, that's the most realistic, stupid thing in one of these post-apocalyptic films ever. Because that's
what I always
kind
think
of shit that'll happen.
See the people that are building the bunkers. So you're a millionaire and you've built a bunker and you've got maintenance workers in it. You've got your own private security and all the rest of it. Do they really think
the staff will be loyal? Yes, the staff will be completely loyal. Yes.
Really?
Wipe my ass, Jeeves.
The world's gone to hell in a handbasket. Jeeves' kids are outside getting melted, and Jeeves is still going to be, like you say, let me wipe your arse, sir. The security guards are all going to be there. Their kids are running about with their hair on fire, and Bill Gates is sitting having another margarita. That's not going to happen.
See, sorry, you lost me at Jeeves's kids are outside getting melted because obviously you meant some sort of nuclear attack or something.
Yeah.
But I just had visions of toy soldiers and a little flamethrower. Like, fuck you, Jeeves. There goes your kids.
Daddy, let me in. Why do you hate us so much? Timmy's on fire out here.
Yeah, it is ridiculous. They're probably relying on a lot of things, but that's why a mag's always better, right? People you trust,
Yep.
everyone in the same situation, everyone equal to a degree. You're all equal, but do as you're told, that kind of thing. But, you know.
So come along to prepper meet. The
Network, yes.
tell us where we've went wrong, because nobody's got all the answers. Me, Mike, everybody else. I get things wrong on a daily basis. So that's why you get married and somebody will tell you you're doing it wrong.
I get things wrong, but I'm not going to say it too loud because she doesn't realise it.
So it would be good to see everybody there, and May's not that far away really. It's only a few paydays, and I hopefully see as many people as possible.
Not that far away. You're the guy that says Christmas is round the corner, aren't you?
It's five paydays till Christmas, Mike.
Oh, sod off. It's cancelled this year. The kids are all getting preps.
Santa's dead and Rudolph's in the meat factory. Sorry, guys.
Yes, the anti-missile system took down Santa. Sorry. Anyway, I think that's about it for our time. We've had an hour. We've had a bit of a debate. We've come to zero conclusions. So we hope you've learned something from our vast array of rambling nothingness. We aim to please and we're here to help. Would you like to say your goodbyes or any final thoughts, Brian?
I have no thoughts whatsoever on my blank sheet, but thanks everybody for taking the time on a Saturday to listen in. It's appreciated.
Yes, and from me, Gary, that question to that is probably, but it's not something people will advertise willingly. But this is why you need to network, guys. Everyone network.
Build up trust with people and that are local to you, that can get to you. But if you can make it down in May, we'll have a chat about it.
Yeah, and May won't be the only. We will go off the back of this for success. You want to help out, you want to volunteer, get in touch with us. Make sure you go to the website. I'm not prepared enough to put it across the bottom, but it's ukpn.online. You know, really rolls off the tongue. Go check that out, and we'll see you all in the next one. Bye.
Water stored in jugs and tins, bunkered down through thick and thin. Maps and routes all drawn and laid, preppers live unafraid. At the preppers' fireside we stay, ready for that fateful day. Stories shared and hearts alight, round the fire every night. In the glow of embers dance, we've prepared for every chance, living simple, living true, with the dream we all pursue.